Yes, inside the last half an hour of the SportsMax Zone now for this Tuesday, and we're back to talk some squash, the 27th Senior Caribbean Singles and Doubles Championship. Underway at the Ligony Club in New Kingston, Jamaica. Earlier in the day, 3 doubles finals were contested. Let's have a look at them now. The Guyanese with Ashley Groot and Ashley Khalil winning over the Cayman Islands pair of Jade Pitcairn and Michaela Rensburg, 11-6, 11-8. That was a doubles final, women. The mixed doubles final, so the Cayman Islands winning again. Cameron Stafford and Marlene West over the Guyanese pair of Daniel Ince and Taylor Fernandes, 11-3, 11-7, the scoreline there. And in the men's doubles final, Nyron Joseph and Jason Ray Khalil for Guyana, a close 11-10, 11-10 win over the Barbadian pair of Kamal Cumberbatch and the big lefty Sean Simpson. Now later today we will have the third place playoff in the women's singles competition. In the men's singles third place playoff, the Cayman Islands' Julian Jervis received a bye against the Guyanese Alex Arjun. The final of the men's and women's singles are slated for later today. And Alex Arjun, as we said, the walkover and Cayman Islands' Julian Jervis there for that third and fourth playoff. Also up, Chris Binney, 9-time champion, going for 10, taking on Kamal Cumberbatch, the Barbadian, in the men's singles final. That comes up tonight. And there's also the women's final. That comes up, an all Guyanese matchup. It would have been an all Guyanese anyway, because all 4 semi-finalists were Guyanese. Ashley Khalil, the top seed, up against Taylor Fernandes in the women's singles final. So Ashley Khalil, at the end of her victory yesterday in her semi-final, suggested that she knows her opponent Taylor Fernandes very well because they play against each other a lot in Guyana, and also they have played together as a doubles pair as well. So they know each other's game, but based on the seeding, Ashley Khalil, who is fresh from the Commonwealth Games, confident that she'll take her teammate out.
I wonder if we'll see something like what happens in boxing when, you know, sometimes the boxers have a sparring partner who they beat up regularly in training, yeah. But when it comes to the official, I doubt it. What I'd love to see in the battle between the Guyanese ladies, though, you speak of the familiarity and their experience of playing each other. I want to see a close contest, but as you said, very smart, astutely, you recognize that the seeding communicates a gap between the players. Yeah. I hope for the sake of the championship game that we get a dogfight rather than a lopsided outcome.
Yeah. Taylor Fernandes is coming off a bit of a break. She is the older of the two, I believe. Ashley Khalil has been a more consistent player in the past 2 or 3 years. So I think for match sharpness and physical conditioning, Khalil may be a little bit ahead of Taylor Fernandes. But both have been champions before in age group Caribbean in the junior CASA championship. And great to see the strength of the Guyanese. They had won the Caribbean Junior Championship, I think, 12 years in a row, the Guyanese. So they are like a factory for producing outstanding squash players, and they continue to show themselves up in these championships currently on.
Yeah, their dominance in the racket sports is not to be underestimated, because I'm looking at them. They're the best team in table tennis in the region. Yeah. As we see, you mentioned the 4 semi-finalists in this women's singles are all Guyanese, so it would have been an all Guyanese final, whichever permutation you put through. And yeah, they're doing something very, very right. The rest of the Caribbean will perhaps benefit from taking some pages from the book.
Cayman Islands, the only other team to come as close enough to them.
Yeah.
But still, you can notice the major gap between the ladies.
Yeah, the men's final coming up with Chris Binney and Kamal Cumberbatch. Cumberbatch was pressed all the way by Julian Jervis in his semi-final. Binney is considered the favourite to win a record-extending 10th men's singles title. And I think Cumberbatch would recognise that he's in for a dogfight.
Yeah, and based on having Chris Binney in studio and asking him about his form and whatnot, you know, he's just coming off the Commonwealth Games, Georgia and Lance, so he seems to be in good form, fit, and I think this will be an easy one for him. I don't know if we'll get an upset like Leon in the boxing.
Well, look, Jervis and Cumberbatch, there was a lot of harji-barji in that semi-final. You heard the head adjudicator having to tick off the men on occasion. Sometimes that can be also game tactics, gamesmanship. You're trying to disrupt the opponent by being a bit physical, even though squash is the kind of game it is. but perhaps Cumberbatch will have to. I'm not saying that he'll have to resort to the dark arts, but he'll need something extra to lay a glove on Binny, who owns this competition, this championship, and has owned it for 9 years. And as I mentioned, Lance is looking to make it title number 10. Mariah said she thinks it will be a simple task. On paper, it ought to be a simple task. If they play to their potential, Binny will win easily. I hope, for the sake of those watching at the Ligoni Club, and for the sake of those watching on TV on SportsMax, that we get a competitive men's final.
It's got to be live on SportsMax tonight. Significantly, Kamal Cumberbatch plays collegiate squash at Trinity College, where Chris Binney had been the coach some years ago. He's not coaching there at the moment, but Binney a hot favourite. Cumberbatch, by the way, the youngest of, I think, 4 brothers who play squash competitively and successfully in Barbados. There's Rhett Cumberbatch, Gavin Cumberbatch, and the other one is Brian Cumberbatch. All had been Caribbean junior champions, and some of them, I think Gavin was a multiple national senior champion as well. So the Cumberbatch squash family in Barbados, well represented here by Kamal. Let's see how much he can press Chris Binney in the final tonight, which comes up on SportsMax 2. I think that starts at about 8:15 local time. That's 9:15 in the Eastern Caribbean. We go to break now. We still have a lot more to come on the SportsMax Zone.